So we've been doing a lot of social media training. It is like, I know Lisa can attest to this. It's like a hot topic, very popular, not just because of the coolness factor and all that, but it is a legitimate method for putting your business out there, for gaining a following, for networking for with other people, but also for lead generation, which is a huge part of your business as a realtor. So again, I do want to ask everybody for about the next 30, 40 minutes to kind of take your realtor hat off, and we're going to step out of that. We'll come back to it at the end of this session, I promise. But I kind of just want you to like, don't think about this stuff and think about your business, as we're going through the classroom. I want you to just kind of grab the information a little bit out of context, but understand that all these theories and all these concepts that we're talking about today directly apply to your business. And I promise you, promise, at the end, we'll bring it back to the world of real estate again, so we can see some direct application of everything that we're talking about today. Okay. I'm telling everybody again, if you didn't hear me earlier, I'm trying something brand new technology wise today with our session. So if you see two Davids up there, don't worry about that. That was supposed to happen. But hopefully what I'm going to attempt to do will actually work. And we can come out of here saying that we did something really cool today. If not, then, hey, have a little grace. Sorry, I'm trying something new and cool. You guys are my guinea pigs for the day. But hey, you got to have fun with it sometimes. So here we go. All right, hang on just one sec, gang. I'm going to jump right into our material. I'm just going to share my whole desktop. Please don't, think too badly about me because of my messy desktop. Let me shoot this over here. And can everybody see that okay? Thumbs up or on the screen, or I know everybody's muted, right? All right, we got some thumbs up, right on. So, gang, the whole reason that I'm doing this class, I mean, as I mentioned before, we've been getting a lot of call for social media stuff. Social media does integrate with our command system very well for social media posts, for social media ads. The main platforms that it can interact with are with Facebook, obviously. Keller Williams, we do have the exclusive contract for providing real estate data for Facebook, which is awesome. So you definitely want to be on board with the Facebook posts and with the Facebook ads. Hi, Melinda. Saw her pop on. She thought she was going to sneak in. But then when you do your ads, you can also do Twitter. You can post to Twitter. You can do Twitter ads. You can also do ads to Instagram. And so there's a lot of variety in there, but we get questions all the time, which social media channel should I be on? What should I be posting about? So literally a couple of weeks ago, as we were trying to figure out our put the wraps on our March training calendar, I literally had an agent say, what the heck is a hashtag anyway? So why do I even give a crap about it? Excuse my French, but why should I even care about a hashtag? Okay. And it's honest and it's a genuine question. So it just got me thinking, you know what? People have used them. They might have a basic idea and an understanding of what a hashtag is, but really what I want to do is kind of drill down into hashtags specifically and answer the question, why should you care about them? What does it matter? Why does a hashtag even matter? But even more importantly, at the end of the day or the end of the session, hopefully, is why does it matter to my business? What can hashtags help me do? And really, that's what we're getting to here, gang. As a real estate professional, I want to show you how hashtags can increase your network, how it can lead to lead generation. Okay, so that's kind of where we're going with this whole thing here. So I'm gonna show you guys some stuff, and then I've got a short video for you. So hopefully the video will play okay today. So what is a hashtag? A hashtag, it's a metadata tag. It's a tool used to find information. That's what metadata is. You're using a tool to find more information, and it's prefaced by the hash or the pound symbol. For those of you that are old like me or older, and you remember, the old telephones, you had the pound button on there. The pound sign. So a lot of people still call it the pound sign if you're old school, but it has taken on a new name, which is the hash symbol or the hashtag. Hashtags are used widely on social media, such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google, okay, as a way for the users to be able to find information and to be able to tag information. We're going to talk about how that happened in history, how that happened. But it does allow people to cross-reference or search for contact by sharing the same subject or the theme. So if I'm a dog lover, I can, search for hashtag puppies. I don't know if you guys have seen people do this before. They do the little hashtag thing with your two fingers because it looks like the hashtag symbol. You understand why that'll be funny here in about 2 minutes. Or if I'm a travel aficionado, I love traveling the world in my spare time, hashtag travel, and I can go look for hashtag beaches, things like that. So for example, if I was going to be on Instagram, and I actually grew up in Tucson, Arizona, so I always tell everybody we have the most beautiful sunsets there whatsoever, better than Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii, and I will put an Arizona sunset up against a Hawaii sunset. But if I was on Instagram and I wanted to go up in the search bar and just type hashtag Arizona sunsets, I'm going to get everything associated with an Arizona sunset that somebody else has hashtagged Arizona sunset. Okay. Gives you all those posts that have been tagged with that hashtag. And that is true of not just Instagram, but also Facebook, your other social media channels, LinkedIn also. Most people are on there for your professional social network, okay? So after the hashtag, you can have a variety of things. It's kind of like doing your file names, okay, or your URLs for a website. So after you put in the hashtag symbol, you can include letters, there's names, you can put in numbers or digits and underscores, okay? Not the special characters like the ampersand or the pound sign, or not the pound sign, but the dollar sign, excuse me, percentage sign, excuse me, things like that. So really, that's what it's allowed people to do, is not just words like we did hashtag puppies or hashtag beaches, but we could do hashtag, happy Taco Tuesday. You can put a phrase in there, okay? You may have seen when hashtags first came out, people would capitalize the first letter in each word because sometimes the hashtag phrases get really long. And I don't know about you guys, if anybody's guilty of this other than me, please raise your hand. But some of those hashtag phrases are as hard to decipher as personalized license plates because there's just so much letters, and you're literally and it finally dawns on you, okay, this is where the actual words are, because they're all lowercase and they just kind of seem to run together. Okay, has anybody else ever had that happen to them? Lisa's nodding. Okay, a couple of you. Right on. So the origins of the hashtag, these actually were invented, that they're not that old. I guess, 13 years, not too old. But a gentleman named Chris Messina actually came up with the hashtag concept. And he was like a kind of an influencer on Instagram when Instagram was really getting big. And has been credited for being the one that eventually led to the widespread use of hashtags. So back in the day when social media was first getting started, some of you, I don't know if you remember back in the MySpace days or Right America Online way back when. Lisa's laughing. Uh, it has evolved since then, but it started out, and a lot of times, gang, it was hard to find specific information. It was great for social media, keeping up with your friends, making posts, throwing pictures and videos, things on that. But if you ever wanted to just search for information on a social media channel, it was kind of hard to do that. So Chris Messina, what he did is he came up with this hashtag thing, and he started tagging his content. And then he found out that later on, by practice and just trying it out, found out that if he typed in the same exact hashtag, word or phrase that he had typed in previously, and if he searched for that later on, just like the hashtag sunsets, it would pull up any content that was related to that had that same exact hashtag on it. I know that may seem basic and rudimentary. Some of you may already know some of this, but bear with me, it's going to make a difference. So he came up with this, people started using it, but Twitter did not adopt the process back then. They said, okay, that's cool. You found kind of a workaround to find other people's information, but we're not going to jump on board and officially get on board with this hashtag thing. So if you use it, fine. If not, no big deal. We're not going to adopt it. Well, if anybody remembers it, back to 2017, we had the really bad San Diego forest fires in Southern California. It was really bad. And there was a lot of coordination going on between the fire, EMS, rescues, people being displaced from their homes. There's a lot of relief efforts going into the area. And what Chris did is he suggested to them, and this is really how he got popular for this, and Twitter finally adopted the hashtag policy, is they started using communications to be able to track all this stuff. Hashtag water relief, hashtag, need a home, things like that. So people were actually able to use that to provide a service or to provide something valuable for somebody in need. Well, we're realtors, we are business people. That's what we're doing. We are providing services. We're trying to help people find a home, sell a home, etc. And that's really where it came from. That's how Twitter finally got on board, and they said, hey, you know what? This was instrumental. Wow, we had no idea at the time, like technology wise, like we could use this to such an extent. So they finally adopted the hashtag symbol as a valid tool within their system. And soon after, all the different social medias followed suit afterwards. So the cool thing is Chris Messina, he's the one that is kind of, credited with being the godfather of the hashtag, and they gave him credit for it. But because he was of a time frame where, people, I don't know if people remember when coding first came out on the internet, and there were a lot of people who said that it should be an open source. People should have availability to it and not have to pay for a service. So Messina was kind of the mind frame, because he felt that hashtags came from the need on the internet. They should belong to everybody. So he didn't want to, he didn't want to, he could have copyrighted that, and he'd probably be a millionaire about 1 million times over by now with all the hashtags that have been used. But he didn't, and he got them to adopt an open policy on hashtags so that everybody, not only on Twitter, but across social media and across the internet, can use hashtags for free. So kind of cool. If you never know the history, there you go. So since then, what happened? Well, in 2009, Twitter actually began to link those hashtags to all the other hashtag words. Okay, they finally adopted that as a standard. They went one more, not only just to plug it into the search option, but now if I go hashtag puppies, I can just click on, people put on that, and the words actually become hyperlinked. So you can immediately just click on it and easily access the information. Not only did they do the words, they started doing misspelled words as well. Has anybody ever done that? You're typing, you're searching, even on Google, and you mistype. I do it all the time with YouTube. I'm typing so fast, I type YouTube wrong, but when I hit enter, it actually catches that I did a common misspelling and still redirects me to YouTube. So they kind of did the same thing with the hashtags to make sure that everybody's being directed to the information that they wanted. Around the end of that decade, they could be seen on all of the social media platforms. So Facebook took them on, YouTube was taking them on, all the different ones, LinkedIn, etc. Instagram actually, because people, Instagram is for photos. It's the big thing for Instagram to have that graphical, splash on there. And the bad thing, the downside to this is now companies and unfortunately spammers started using hashtags as well. So they were spamming hashtags. They would literally put a post and they would put, 300 hashtags on there. It's ridiculous that anybody was ever going to do that much, but they were trying to just, get people to click. They call it clickbait, it's something, I wonder what that is. And they go click on it to go check it out. So Instagram was the first social media channel that really pulled that back, and they said, hey, you know what? We're not going to let people do that. We are going to limit all of the hashtags in our post to 30 hashtags. And gang, that limit still stands to this day. Okay, if you ever go on there and you try and go 31 hashtag, you will get a warning that says you can only do 30 on Instagram. So that's still there to this day. Okay. The users, what they found is that they could kind of get around that. They could literally post 30 hashtags in the post, and then a lot of influencers or companies, they would go into the comment section and then they would post another 30 hashtags. So there's always a workaround about it, but I bring that up because that's going to come important. It's going to be important when we talk about how you should do your posts later on. Okay. So another cool evolution is because this became so popular and it became such a widespread use, in 2014, in June of 2014, Oxford actually added the word hashtag to the dictionary, which is kind of cool. I'm a kind of language geek, so I like that kind of stuff and see the evolution of how things happen. So I thought that was kind of cool. And even though it started out on Twitter, all of the major platforms took those on, whether, Instagram, Facebook, Flickr, Tumblr, Google Plus, etc. The term hashtag, sometimes when you talk about a hashtag, you could mean the phrase, but a lot of times it's used interchangeably with the actual pound or the hashtag symbol. So it may get kind of confusing if you ever hear that. Some people talk about a hashtag, they might mean the phrase. If they're talking about hashtag, they may just literally mean the pound sign or the hash sign, okay? Once we got closer to our time, as of 2018, or actually more than 85% of the top 50 websites, and these are the top 50 websites both in the world and nationally by users visiting them. That's how they measure those. They were using hashtags for their company. So now we've evolved to what's called branded hashtags. And you guys already know them. We have them. Hashtag Keller Williams, hashtag KW, hashtag family. Who posted during family reunion this year? Anybody put something on social media and go hashtag family reunion or hashtag KW family reunion? That's a branded hashtag for you. Okay. So a lot of companies took those on as well. And the hashtags, they're very common. They're very popular with millennials, with your Generation Zs. Obviously, I won't mention his name, with somebody coming out of the office with our politicians. are influencers and celebrities worldwide. I think I've told a few of the agents that I've met with, I ran our Twitter account. I was over at CB Richard Ellis. I ran our local Twitter account for about 13 years. And between running that and then Mr. Donald Trump, I am done with tweeting. I won't ever tweet again as long as I live. But that's where the hashtags came from, okay? So everyone, with that in mind, I've got a little video I want to play for you real quick. I don't know, those of you that are fans or not of Saturday Night Live, but Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake did a really funny skit about hashtags. And I think this kind of drives the point home. It sounds ridiculous when you're talking about them. So what they've done is they've taken their conversation that they would have on Twitter, and they're trying to tell you, like show you how a hashtag conversation actually sounds when you say it out loud rather than do it online. So let me go ahead and make sure my volume's up so you guys can hear this, and hopefully everybody can hear this okay.
David, we can't hear it.
Can you not hear it at all, Lisa? Or
not at all?
Oh, that's not good. Okay, give me just 1 second. Hang on.
I've seen this before. It is super funny.
It is super funny. Hang on, I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to reshare and just do that one window. There we go. Share sound. All right. Let's try this again, shall we?
Hey, Justin, what's up?
Not much, Jimmy. Hashtag
Is that better?
what's up with you?
Just been busy working. Hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag is it Friday yet?
Hey, check it out. I brought you some cookies. Hashtag homemade. Hashtag oatmeal raisin. Hashtag show me the cookie.
Sweet. Hashtag don't mind if I don't. Pretty good. Hashtag getting my cookie on. Hashtag I'm the real cookie monster. Hashtag no, 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 no.
Delicious, right? Hashtag I did it all for the cookie. Hashtag LOL.
Hashtag classic. By the way, did you catch last week's episode of Duck Dynasty? Hashtag quack quack.
Nah, lately I've mostly been watching Netflix. Hashtag Orange is the New Black.
Oh, nice. I've been watching a lot of Barney the Dinosaur. Hashtag purple is the new black. Hashtag I love you, you love me, we're a happy family. Hashtag I'm 38. Hashtag dinosaurs. Hashtag how do they go extinct? Hashtag meteor. Hashtag ice age. Hashtag speaking of ice age, I just watched Ice Age on demand the other day. Hashtag funny. Hashtag Ray Romano. Hashtag Deborah. Deborah. Hey, by the way, Halloween's only like a month away.
I know.
I mean, do you know where you're gonna be at? Hashtag life decisions. Hashtag sexy ghost.
I think I'm gonna go as a Ninja Turtle. Hashtag gotta be Raphael. Hashtag Leonardo sucks. Hashtag the turtle, not the Italian Renaissance painter. Hashtag Mona Lisa. Hashtag is she smiling? Hashtag speaking of smiling, I just saw my dentist. Hashtag bling. Hashtag dental care. Hashtag cavity free. Hashtag that's how we do. Hashtag we go hard. Hashtag and we can't stop.
Hashtag we won't stop.
Hashtag we run this.
Hashtag true players for life.
Hashtag is it worth it or let me work it.
Hashtag put my thing down, flip it, then reverse it.
Hashtag is there women in the gang yet? Hashtag is there women in the gang yet?
Hey guys,
Yeah, Quest?
What's up?
hashtag shut the f up.
All right. So sorry, guys. I just found that immensely hilarious. Thought I'd share it with you. But oh, hang on. Sorry. Let me shut down YouTube here. All right.
Now I'm going to be singing Missy's song all day.
I know, right? I had it in my head. I'm like, oh, yep. That'll be in my head for a while. Okay. So, believe it, I mean, that was funny and entertaining. I want to show for that purpose, but there's actually another purpose there too, because what they showed is just like a conversation, a normal conversation that can kind of you off a rabbit hole, or what was the movie Up where he says squirrel, and he just looks in another direction. That's kind of what you can do with hashtags as well. And we'll talk about that when we get to the usage, but let me just go ahead and get back to our slides here. Let me maximize this. Okay, there we go. Can everybody see that again? Hopefully. All right. So, gang, with that in mind, some of the most common questions I get are about social media. what should I actually be posting about? You know, I'm a realtor. Obviously, I want to do my listings and get my houses out there, you know, help my clients, etc. But honestly, if you're any kind of a business and that's all you're doing is just business, 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 business on your business page, your realtor page, or your team page, it's going to become very stale. And just like anything else in a relationship, and that's really what you're in with your clients, you want to make yourself more personable with that. Okay. So I've had people, you know, when we talk about this, I'll mention that, you know, you should post other things as well in your life. And I've had people ask me, okay, well, I get that. And I've seen other people do it. Why do I want to post a picture of my dog? Who cares about my dog? Well, you're a realtor. You help people buy and sell homes. A lot of the good percentage of those, I'm going to guess, have pets, you know, cats or dogs. So you intrinsically have an audience out there of dog lovers or cat lovers, okay, pet lovers. You know, some of the homes that you do may have swimming pools associated with them. So you know, you might want to become kind of a swimming pool guru, or you know, HGTV is given a whole new popularity to, you know, home improvement, home organization, things like that. My wife watches that all the time. And the next thing I know, she's either on that or Pinterest. And next thing I know, we have a brand new organizing cabinet for our pantry, you know, in our shelves, or our pots and pans are in a whole nother place that we didn't know before. So there's a whole nother areas out there rather than you just buy a house, sell a house, buy a house, sell a house. Okay. So that's why you kind of want to expand your reach of your social media. There's more to housing and the housing community and the housing business than just here's my new listing. Okay. So we'll get to that. And we'll talk about that and different areas that you can do as far as posts go. But the other thing, once I narrow that down, now that I know what should I be posting about or what can I post about that would help my business, excuse me, which hashtags should I actually be using? Which is a perfect question. Okay. So the thing I want to talk about is when we mentioned the social media posts. I believe it was Ashley Marsh. She did a really good social media class when I first started here at KW. And I don't know what her phrase is. Mine is I always ask the question to our agents, what are your wheelhouses? And by wheelhouses, I mean, what are the areas of your life in addition to your business, which is part of it, that you are passionate about? Hang on, gang. Looks like Jennifer got booted and I am letting her back in. There we go. Okay, cool. She's connecting. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run into the examples of my wheelhouses. Now, I will throw my disclaimer. Welcome back, Jennifer, by the way. Glad you could get.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So again, I'm trying to get you to get out of the real estate mindset right now. So I'm going to take you down my road. Gang, my disclaimer, I am not an agent. I will be going for my real estate test of my license probably later on this year. But as of right now, I'm not an agent. I've been in commercial real estate for 17 years. I'm in residential real estate right now. Do not have my license. However, I've had a travel and a wellness business for about 5 years now. So into that, I didn't even know at the time, like I've been teaching agents and brokers how to, you know, do successful social media for almost 2 decades now. I never personally had to do it on my own. So about a year and a half ago, I had never done Instagram in my life other than our corporate channels at CBRE. And so I took it on myself to go ahead and get into Instagram. It was just my choice. I wanted it totally unrelated on Facebook, you know, to my personal stuff. And I wanted it to be just for my business. And it took a lot of lessons to do it, but learning about hashtag was one of those, and the different areas of my life, because I was the same thing. I thought, oh, travel, everybody wants it, which everybody does. Trust me, loves travel. But there are other ways to gain an audience. You do want to get an audience. You do want to find other followers, because that increases your network and then allows for lead generation. And that's really what we're getting here. So in David's personal world, in David's travel site, one of the wheelhouses was my business. Okay. So it could be, you know, travel for me, your real estate, your realtor, maybe you have rental properties, maybe you're doing Airbnbs. I know, I think it was Kendra, maybe a couple other people in our office when we during our challenge, they actually have other businesses is in the health and fitness industry as well, yoga instructor or personal trainer, etc. So you do have your business. However, on top of that, your other wheelhouses could be things like your life's passion. Okay, well, travel's still a big one for me, but my wife and I and our kids, we are all huge OSU football fanatics. Okay, that actually went into my travel planning, and you'll see why when I show you my page. Cooking and grilling. My wife and I both love to cook. I love to grill. We're always looking for new recipes to try things out. That's one of our life passions on that wheelhouse. Anybody that knows me knows David loves music and movies. I am a pop culture guru. I'm the guy you want to take on trivia night when you go to help you win We're very involved in our church. We are pet lovers. I've had dogs my entire life, and now we have cats, you know. So, and then the other thing, obviously, being the director of technology, I'm a huge tech head. Like anything to do with technology, I love it. From, you know, spaceships to, you know, the new iPods, whatever it is. That's just something that I love. It's one of my life passions. One of your other wheelhouses, what are the activities that you do in your life, or what are your lifestyle things that you do? So again, travel is huge for us, but we love hiking. We love some of the things we do. We love to do this while we're traveling. So we love hiking. I've been doing yoga for about 4.5 years now. Part of our business too is health and wellness and nutrition. I'm really proud. You know, we did the 10-day challenge and then a 21-day Daniel Fest while our KW office was doing our month of February. So in the month of February, my wife and I both dropped about 10 pounds. She has diabetes and her sugar levels came down over 40 points in that month. And so this on top of when I first started tracking my calories using my FitnessPal app, another geeky tech thing that I loved. Last August, when we got back from our honeymoon, I'm actually down 20 pounds total. So very proud of that. So it's something I'm passionate about. I love doing SUP. And I'm not like, you know, SUP, not that SUP, but stands for stand up paddleboard. I actually got to doing that because I had been on vacations before and I had gained some weight. I didn't think like fitness wise or health wise I could do it. But once I got into yoga for a couple of years, a lot of people were doing yoga on paddle boards. So I went from doing yoga to just going out and riding on a paddleboard to the point where I could finally do yoga on a paddleboard. I actually took classes at the Worthington pools, and they'll teach you in a swimming pool how to do yoga on a paddleboard. So if you fall off, what's the worst thing that happens? You fall in a cool, you know, swimming pool on a warm summer day. Cool thing to do. So there's a whole community I can connect with. Snow skiing. Literally just got back from a snow skiing trip a day and a half ago from New Mexico. Love it. Okay. So those are some of your other wheelhouse things. The other thing is just your hobbies. You know, my boys, they love doing video games. My older son is 25. I taught him how to do games. You know, so we're gamers. I love photography. I'm certainly not a professional photographer, but I love doing it, you know, as an amateur. And I love whether we're here at home going for a hike or we're on a trip somewhere, doing, you know, really cool photos, trying to frame things right, working on your lighting sources, etc. I've also been doing video editing for over 15 years now. So I love doing videos as well. And that's one of the things I put together with our travel stuff. And then I also am very big on personal and professional development. That's why I love being able to, my first year here, to be already being able to go to mega camp and family reunion. So those are kind of your wheelhouses, gang. So what I would do is I would write down those 4 areas: your business, your life passions, your activities in your lifestyle, and then your hobbies, and figure it out for you. Because it's not going to be the same as mine. I'm not involved in everything that you're in. You're going to have passions and things in your life that you love that are going to be different than me. But when that question comes up, why should I post a photo about my dog? Why do people care if I went to a yoga class? Now it's going to make sense why you should be posting more on social media. So if you figure out your why by doing this, then you can narrow down this whole hashtag thing and figure out, well, what hashtag should I be using? Okay. That kind of makes sense? All right. So what I've got here is I went and did some research for us, and I found a few different areas of the top hashtags for 2020. So this is just in general the top 25 hashtags from Instagram during 2020. Again, you could go just Google the same thing for Facebook if you're curious about that, since we use Facebook in command. Again, I'm just trying to get away from that a while so you can concentrate on the concepts. So just quick scroll down through the list. We've got love, Instagood. That's kind of just like anything that is related to Instagram or you want to post on. You can pretty much put the word Insta in front of it, or IG. So I do Insta travel. I do IG travel. Okay, those are huge. Instagood, it's just a good feeling. So or something that you think is cool. So, you know, if your kid's on a skateboarding, does a kick flip and everything, you know, oh, hashtag Instagood, you know, that was cool. All right. Fashion, photo of the day. These can be your house photos. Okay. It could be, you know, the front of the house. It could be the back of the house. If they got a cool deck and awning, they got a cool fireplace, etc. Maybe, you know, you just re-splashed back tiles and did, you know, new marble tiles or countertops in the kitchen. Hey, that's a hashtag photo of the day right there. Okay. Beautiful art, happy photography, pick of the day, cute, follow. A lot of people do that to try and get people to follow them. That's one way you can do it. TBT. Anybody ever done a TBT post before? I know you guys know what that means, right? Throwback Thursday. You ever done those? Right, Throwback Thursday, or you've seen your friends do them, right? Throwback Thursday, they go find like an old photo and they'll post it on there. Follow me. Nature. Like for a like. That means, hey, I'm going to like your stuff. You like my stuff. There's travel, Instagram, repost. You take somebody else's stuff and you repost it out there. Style, summer. Summer can be used in real estate, barbecues, outdoor patios, swimming pools. I mentioned those before. Okay. Insta daily, same thing. It's just anything that you post on a daily basis. You can tag that. Selfie, me, friends, and fitness. So those are the top 25. And you can see I did put the number of people that were on there as well. The first one, love on Instagram, that is 1.8 billion posts. That's a lot of people. Okay. One thing we talk about in the travel industry, because it's, almost a $10 trillion industry. You don't even have to have the whole pie to be successful and financially well off. You don't even have to slice of the pie. If you can just get a lick of that pie, like a lick of a 1.8 billion post pie, you're doing pretty freaking good. Okay. So that's why I like to bring the numbers up. I mean, the lowest one on there is just shy of 400 million. Okay. So I bring those up because they are the most popular ones. They do change from year to year, of course. But if you start thinking about your real estate industry, start thinking about being a realtor, using those wheelhouses and all the other things that you're passionate about in your life or that you love, maybe some of these hashtags that are getting all this popularity and all these people following you will actually apply, okay, when maybe you think that it would not have before, okay? So just to give you some more, here's the top 20. These are just general real estate hashtags. So, and if anybody wants these, by all means, email me. I will be glad to send out all these hashtags to you. It's a lot easier just to copy and paste these. Or if you're trying to fiercely scribble notes, don't worry about not getting them. I'll definitely send those out to everybody. But these are the top 20 from Instagram on just general real estate hashtags. You've got real estate, realtor, real estate agent, realtor life, investments, interior design, architecture, broker, excuse me, real estate investor, FISBO, make me move, mansion, foreclosure, fix and flip for any of those of you doing flipping houses, home sweet home. I mean, that's classic right there, right? Luxury real estate, luxury homes. We just talked at Family Reunion about our luxury, KW luxury division is having a huge expansion and blowing up right now. Properties, first time home buyer, hashtag open house. Okay. So those are your general real estate ones. Being a little more specifically, here's the top 20 listing real estate hashtags from Instagram. I'm trying to break them down into different categories for you so you can see, different ways. Home, property, for sale, for rent, real estate agent, new homes, dream homes, house hunting, apartment hunting, hashtag sold. That's always great to hear, right? So Lisa, if I see you do a video now, I want to see that. Hashtag sold. I'll be waiting for a video from you. Home for sales, just listed, renovated, curb appeal, mid-century modern, styles of homes, right? Victorian. Some people like the ranch style. Okay. Those are things that you can use, for other hashtags, because some people might be looking, I want a ranch style home. I can't have all those stairs. I'm elderly. My parents live with it, whatever. Maybe just like the style. Okay. So trying to get you to think outside the normal box here. Victorian, Edwardian, turn of the century, shiplap, and pet friendly. I would think that would be a huge one, especially here in Ohio. A lot of dog lovers here in parks and stuff. Okay. A lot of hashtags, I know. So let's just run through real quick. I've got several of the top social media platforms, and I've got a couple of tips on here for each one of you to help you out. First thing, Instagram. What are you going to do as far as a business goes on Instagram? Well, Instagram is designed to showcase your events and your property photos. The best thing you can do on there. Okay. Not the only thing. We talked about other areas you can post in, but that's going to be the best thing. Instagram is all about photos. Get good photos of your house. Now, how many hashtags per post should you do? Well, we already said you can only do 30, okay, in your post. However, what they found in the real estate industry, honestly, it's actually 11 is the magic number. What they found is when they looked at groups of about 1,000 people, 1,000 followers, and they used an average of 11 hashtags, they were getting up to 80 likes every single post, like consistently, okay? Now, of course, the hashtags are not the only factor in that. It's how big is your audience, how big is your followers, etc. The quality of the photos, there's other things go into it. So what they do recommend is about 15 to 20 tags. So really, if you take that with all that in mind, 11 to 20 tags, you're doing okay. Okay. You don't have to saturate it every single time. Does not have to have 30 hashtags in it. But if you want to do that and your purpose is to expand your potential followers or expand your reach, within social media to get more people looking at it, then yeah, maybe you do want to do 30. Okay. If you want it to be very hyper local, we keep hearing that term here lately. I want to be like specifically concentrated on like, Dublin or Powell or, Northwest Columbus, etc. Then you can use maybe only 10 or 11, but keep them really hyper local, Dublin, Ohio, etc. Things like that. Okay.
Hey, David,
Yeah, Lisa, go ahead.
have you looked, I know this changes sometimes, so sometimes they say it's better to, instead of putting the hashtags in the post, put them in your comments.
That is a fantastic question. I'm going to answer that with a whole nother picture we have later on. Can I do that for
Okay.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a fantastic example for everybody who didn't catch that or anybody who didn't catch it. Lisa's question is, should I put the hashtags in the post or should I just put the hashtags down in the comment? Which I mentioned before, Instagram blocked you at 30 hashtags in your post, but a lot of people were getting around that by putting the hashtags down in the first comment as well. Like they post and they would immediately go at a comment with a bunch of hashtags. So which is better? It's actually up to you, but I'm going to give you some examples here in just a bit, okay? Excellent question. What else as far as hashtag goes? Well, you can reverse search hashtags so that you can find your prospects. And that's hopefully the cool thing I'm going to be able to show you here in a minute on my phone if this works properly. So everybody keep your fingers crossed this works, okay? So moving on to some of our other social media platforms. I know we said we're kind of talking about Instagram today, but hey, Command integrates with Facebook, all right? How about hashtag tips for Facebook? Facebook, that's where most people have their personal accounts. For my generation and for the millennials, Gen Xers, etc., that is the largest audience. So I don't know if anybody else other than myself was just on the social media panel that Dana and Greg, some of the other people at KW did. But even though they have an Instagram account, they of course keep their Facebook business one because that's where their target demographic is. Okay. So as far as Facebook goes, how many hashtags should I put on the post? Honestly, the recommended one there is only 1 or 2. Facebook is so huge and the audience is there. People are very, very specific and can find their information very well with that large audience, with the amount of people that are on that social media. Excuse me, guys. Well, you teach and talk all day and you just get dehydrated. Sorry. So you don't necessarily have to use all the hashtags that you do in something like Instagram. The other thing that you can do to help narrow down your audience is in Facebook is to go and join neighborhood groups and pages. And I know I've mentioned this to some of our agents when we do our one-on-one talks, especially when I've been doing social media training lately. But I guarantee you, because I'm on there with our travel business, Columbus has a networking group for every single suburb. And if you're not on there, interacting on there, you are throwing away customers right now. So what I mean by that is if you're not on there, go to Facebook tonight, search for Dublin Network or Dublin Networking. I guarantee you there's a group. I'm in it. Search for Worthington Networking, search for Powell Networking, search for Hilliard, Grove City, downtown Columbus. You get the idea, okay? Every suburb around here and most of the surrounding cities and the actual towns and whatnots, townships have them as well. And I know because I already did the demographics for them for Columbus, each of those groups has anywhere from 2,000 to about 12,000 members in them. So gang, if you consider there's, 10 or 12 or 15 of those around Columbus, that is a huge amount of people, a huge audience that if you're not in those groups and putting your posts in there, you're missing out on business. I mean, period. Okay. Those are the local people. Do you just post your listings? No, it's like anything else. Get on there every once in a while, make a comment on a conversation, throw out things that are of other value in content, right? You always want to provide value. So, hey, here's spring cleaning that's coming up. So, hey, here's your top 20 tips for spring cleaning or spring organizing, cleaning out your garage, I know in Command, even in the social media area, KWRI has put, posts in there like how to stay safe during a move during COVID, do you know about your credit score, et cetera. So there, again, in those wheelhouses, there's other areas that you can put those posts, other topics that you can put the posts about. Okay. Hashtag for LinkedIn. It's kind of the same thing. I hate to say it, guys. LinkedIn is great for professional networking, but compared to the other social media sites, it sucks trying to get inner activity going on sometimes. Okay. People kind of go to LinkedIn to browse for job stuff and whatnot. Of course, there's a lot of people on there trying to be subject matter experts. I'm not knocking LinkedIn, but compared to the other social media followers, this is where people come to connect with professionals, and that's about it. Okay, they're trying to expand that reach a little bit, so you might not put so much stuff on there with as much flair and some of those other wheelhouses as you would say on Instagram or Facebook. But to reach those audiences, because of a slightly lower inactivity, you are going to want to do some more hashtags. This says 3 for 5. I always tell everybody about 5 to 10, possibly on LinkedIn. Again, it depends on your content and whatnot. And you can also follow hashtags there to stay current on the trends going on in business around the world. Hashtag tips for Twitter. Woo, say that 5 times fast. That's a tongue twister. If you want to, you can stay up to date on the industry news. Again, you only need a couple on Twitter. It's very hyper focused on stuff. It's very easy to find information on there, and it's the father of hashtags. Their system, honestly, even though I don't use it, is probably better, better indexed to find the information than some of the other social media places. Okay. Twitter is pretty much famous for, the trending topics, what's going on in the world, like right now. Okay. Current events, etc. So that's kind of the advantage for Twitter. For Pinterest, now I am not on Pinterest. My wife is. She loves that thing for cooking, for home organization, for all that stuff. But if you're on Pinterest, you can look for very specific areas, very specific home trends, for example, like we mentioned before. Pinterest, because of the lower usage or members compared to other social media sites, those you want to put a decent number of hashtags in there, from 10 to 15 of those as well. And what you can also curate interior design boards to show off your expertise, or like we mentioned before, to show your knowledge of properties or other things, swimming pools, things like that. All right, so Lisa, you asked a good question. Should I put our hashtags in the post? Should I put the hashtags in the comments? I will tell you, for purposes of indexing and people finding your information, it's going to be exactly the same. So don't ever worry that, I put it in my post, to make it easier for people to find, or I put it in the comments, it'll be easier to find. If they search for that hashtag, they're going to find it either way. Okay. But there are some things to take into mind. Again, I can't tell you what to do or not to do, but here's some things to take in mind. Okay. For this property, this is a realtor out of New York City. And what they're trying to do is actually have a mix, a blend, because they have properties or their posts that they definitely want to kind of make hyper local to the New York area, but they are also doing luxury homes and luxury condos. So some of those more generic hashtags that we talked about before, the hashtag luxury home, okay, those are going to be applicable. So this is a good example of somebody that wants a mix of those. You can see down on the hashtags, you've got things like New York City, New York, Brooklyn, specific, suburbs, etc., or areas right outside the city. But then it also does have, New York City real estate, etc. But then it's got some of those more generic terms in there, the modern homes, the luxuries, etc. Now you can see in this particular one, they did not put the hashtags in the original post up here at the top. If everybody can see where I'm circling with my mouse, okay, they kept it nice and clean and simple. Our neighborhood is getting more and more iconic by the day. Who else agrees? Oh, and by the way, posts with emojis. You see the little person there raising their hand, or some of the other emojis, the high five, the 100% one, a lot of people use, etc. Believe it or not, those actually have about a 3 to 5 times more likely chance of people interacting with that than it does with just text. Don't know why, but that's just the facts. Okay, so they did not put the hashtags up in here. They kept it clean. They took a photo from somewhere else, and they did give credit by putting the person's Instagram tag in there. Okay. And then what they did is they came down here to the first comment, and some of you may or may not have seen these, but I do the same thing on mine so that the hashtags are further away from the original post and they don't detract from the attention on the post. You'll put a couple of lines of just periods, put a period, enter, pin it, 4 or 5 of those is fine. And then you put a bunch of hashtags on there. It keeps the focus on the post itself and on that text, but then you can still easily find the hashtags, okay? So that's one example right there of a hashtag mix. This is another one. There's a nice, beautiful luxury home, obviously. This one, Jade Mill Real Estate, they literally want this because they're doing the luxury homes. They want everything to look professional. They want it to look clean and crisp. They don't want to post with 30 hashtags in there. So Lisa, to get back to your question, these are some of the driving forces why you do that or not. So what they did is they just put one hashtag or two. They typically, this group typically does two. They have two and they're branded ones. Okay, so if you have your own personal hashtag that you started using, or you want to use your own for your team, and then you want to say, hey, KW, Keller Williams, hashtag KW Consultants, et cetera, and help, capture some of that audience, then you can do that as well. But this looks very clean, magnificent Encino masterpiece, just shy of $20 million. Boom, one hashtag, it'll take them right to Jade Miller's estates. Okay.
When you say
Yeah.
a branded hashtag, is that just one that you create on your own? Like I have hashtag the collective consultants for my
Yeah.
pseudo
Yeah.
team
Yeah.
thing. Is that
Like
what you're
your
talking
own
about?
branded one, Lisa.
Yeah. So there's nothing extra that I need to do other than always use that, and then it becomes its own little hashtag, right?
The only thing that I would recommend, and you may have done this, I had to do the same thing when I did mine. Our travel hashtag is hashtag the traveling Buckeyes.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, before I went and did that, I went and researched those hashtags on every social media platform I'm on to find out, like, not only that word, but like variations of it. So the funniest thing, a funny story, I found another travel couple, and they are the traveling Buckeye, singular, not plural. And what they do is it's an elderly couple and they have an RV and they go around and they share their videos from when they go to all these different RV parks. Really cool site and everything. And I've actually
That is
communicated
cool.
with them. But we wanted to make sure, like, just like the Ohio State football, which you said was one of our wheelhouses, one of our passions, we
Yeah.
wanted to be the traveling Buckeyes, plural, because it's our whole family. So yeah, I would say research it on the social media platform that you're going to do. Just go search for the hashtags that you're considering. But not only to find out is it being used or not, but also see what content is showing up there. If I would have done, traveling Buckeye, and it came up and it was literally just all football stuff, and maybe that's what the OSU does when they're on the road or something, maybe I don't want to be associated with that. I want to find content that's specific to me. Or if you're lucky enough to find one that has little or no content, you are going to set the tone for that hashtag. And that's really what we were shooting for as well. And probably what you were looking for too. So
Is there a way to promote your hashtag? Like if you do have a branded one, is there a way that you suggest promoting
put it
it?
on every single post, Lisa. Honestly, that's
Okay.
the purpose of a branded hashtag, is because you can see already, depending on the example, the hashtags that you're going to use are going to change based on your content. It could be all real estate. It could be a mixture like the New York City one. It could be a personal one. So I'm talking about dogs, pools, cats, etc., paddleboarding and whatnot. But your branded one, you should put on every single post. I guarantee you, I not only put the traveling Buckeyes on everyone, but I also tag my photos on Instagram with the traveling Buckeyes as well. Hashtag
Okay.
the traveling Buckeyes. Because then when people search, not only are your posts going to show up, your specific photos will show up as well. Okay.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. Thank you.
Good questions. Yeah, absolutely. Great questions. Okay, here's another example, gang. This is another example of a very specific type of property. I know we've got a couple examples of them here in luxury, but this could be something else. If you're getting into flipping houses, it could be, house flipping. If you're getting into Airbnb or rental properties, you can use those hashtags. So you notice that this is very hyper local with the location. Okay, she's got her Joyce, where's it at? Joyce Ray Real Estate. She's got her own branded hashtag up there, with her name on there. And that's a great way to do it, is to have your name to help make it individualized. But then she's really gone in there and she's put stuff in there for the location, California, Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. But then every single luxury word, that is popular, not just luxury, but luxury, hashtag mansions, hashtag modern, okay, hashtag travel, because people travel and they want to rent luxury homes. Okay. So just, again, different ways to get outside your normal mode of thinking with your hashtag uses. This is a great example. This is somebody down in Austin, Texas, which is where, if you're familiar with him, Marty Miller is actually.
Hey, David, just real quick before you move on from that.
Yeah.
Let's say, for instance, that I use my own name. Like if I do hashtag Lisa Evelyn.
Yes.
If somebody Googles Lisa Evelyn, will what I've posted with that hashtag come up? Like,
It will Yeah, I know what you mean. It will over time. Like even if you're the only one, or like the reason for that is because the web crawlers have to have time to go through your content, and that does happen over time. But the more and more you use that, then
Yeah.
yeah, if somebody just Googled it because your hashtag is there, it will start coming up in Google searches as well, which is another great way to increase what we call SEO, your search engine optimization. That's an excellent question. Yeah. So that's a great way to either off of Facebook or Instagram or whatever your primary channel is to also increase your Google searches as well. You bet. You bet.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Great questions. Again, this is where Marty Miller, if you guys have heard of the 66-day challenge, he's down in the Austin office. And this is somebody that just wanted to keep their stuff hyper local, really wanted to keep it local. So everything to do with Austin. Okay. So you'll notice it's not just real estate stuff, but like keep Austin weird. Okay. Austin is really big for kind of hipsters and music. Austin City Limits, you know, my mom used to watch the music show back when I was a kid. So I grew up on it. Okay. So IG Austin, remember I said you could put Insta or IG in front of anything and make it a hashtag. Okay. So he did a lot of things on it. Your area code, do 614 Dublin, do 614 Columbus. Okay. That'll help keep yourself hyper local. But we also have a 614 magazine. So I put that in there sometimes when I'm doing something local to Columbus because I capture that magazine's audience as well. Okay. A lot of cool stuff. So, all right, we're not actually done here. Let me try and show you guys something real quick. All right, we're going to try and do the cool part here. Everybody stand still.
My neighborhood has the spraying bug. Everybody's outside doing stuff in their yard. I'm so jealous right now.
Can you guys see that? Oh, it worked. I'm so stoked right now. Let's see. Where am I going? David. Nope, nope, wrong one. Sorry. Hang on, guys. There we go. All right. Everybody see that okay? Apologize for that first picture that popped up. You can't control what other people put on there. All right. So, gang, this is my Instagram page. And the reason I want to show this to you, and I had to do it on the app, because if you do it on your computer, you do not get what I'm about to show you. This has to be through the app on your phone. Okay. Just make sure that that's clear to everybody. So this is my Instagram page. Again, I just started this for my travel business about a year and a half ago. Okay. But just to give you an example, I just went over 2,500 followers, 2,524 followers. That's not bad. Okay. Just to give you some reference, Greg, our team leader, has 981 followers right now. Dana, who does a podcast in her Wednesday morning thing and all her cool videos, she's up to about 4,500 right now. So I'm pretty proud that we got about over 2,500 people in just over a year. Okay. KW Houston, which I mentioned before, they're only doing about 1262. Or excuse me, consultants. Our consultants office is about 1262 right now. So I want to do that.
So many.
What's that?
How did you get them?
That's what I'm going to get into. And guys,
Okay.
I know we're running close to the time, so hopefully you can stay on here.
Yep.
And that's what I want to go through. So you'll notice as I go through here, I've got a variety of content. Okay. Our travel company has actually expanded. So we went from travel to really lifestyle. So now we're travel, wellness, health, nutrition, beauty, and stuff like that. We merged with a company called Secret that does all the Dead Sea products. So my hashtags and my posts have really expanded lately. Okay. But you'll notice I've got some stuff down there. I've got, there's a family reunion, that's one of my wheelhouses. I promote work stuff and capture that audience. So Lisa, you asked a great question. So this was our trip that I just took to New Mexico. I always love getting, the out the window, the wing, looking over the sky and everything. It's like an iconic travel photo for everybody, right? Well, when I'm in Instagram, remember the app, not on the web page, I've got an option. Can everybody see down here? It says view insights just under the photo. I'm going to click on this and you'll see right now I've got 52 likes, 2 comments. But when I scroll up here, it actually gives you some insights on all your posts. And this is the kind of data that's valuable in the background. And I'm going to be honest with you, I did not expect this particular post to go so popular, but I want to go back here to the hashtags that I use. Okay. Can everybody see those? Okay. I knew that I wanted to really push this out there because it's our first vacation of the year. So it's gonna matter for our travel business. So I did the mixture of hashtag subjects. Okay. So you see that I've got things on there like United Airlines, New Mexico skies, New Mexico travel, Albuquerque. The place that we visited was called Angel Fire Resort. A lot of people have never even heard of Angel Fire, but Taos, New Mexico is one of the most popular skiing places in the whole country, much less the world. So I put Taos, New Mexico, snow day. It's in the winter. People are doing, posting pictures of their kids in the snow, travel bloggers. And then Lisa, the two that I always use is Travel Love. That's one of the more popular travel ones on Instagram. And you'll see down below, hashtag the Traveling Buckeyes, every single post, the Traveling Buckeyes. Okay. So getting back into the insights here, I'm just so jazzed this is working, guys. And this tells you my wheelhouse is right because I am a tech geek. Okay.
So now you have to tell us how you did this for when we want to do this too.
Exactly.
Another class.
I mean, I just posted this like a day and a half ago. It's already got that reach. That's what the reach is. How many people have seen this post? 646 people have already seen this post. Okay. I only have 25 people, 2,500 people. That's 1/4. If this was just my followers, this would be a quarter over quarter of my followers have seen this. That's pretty freaking good on a print advertising marketing campaign. When you're doing flyers and things, realize that a 3 to 5% return is phenomenal for a print marketing campaign. Like this is way above that. Okay. Now that's assuming it was my followers, but it's not. Look down below under the impressions. I've got actually 675 total impressions. Impressions is the total amount of people that have seen it. Okay. From the hashtags that I use, 401 people saw this post that don't follow me. Are you seeing why the hashtags matter now? 401 people don't follow me. Look at the percentage right up there. 63% were not previously following the Traveling Buckeyes. I literally that's over half that I reached out to. Okay, so from that, 11 people went and checked out my profile. 5 people are following me now from that one post. And you can see with that kind of a numbers, it's because I plan my hashtags properly. Okay, I don't attribute that to my followers. I attribute that to people I have no clue who they are until I start getting notices. So-and-so followed you. So-and-so followed you. That's music to my ears. Okay. All right. So that's that one post. Now, also when you're on your page, you can get to this a couple different ways. Okay. You'll notice down below, you've got things like edit profile, promotions, insights. I'm going to click on that insights button on the middle right there. And when I do, Instagram gives you some great statistics in the background. So if you look up in the upper top, you can see the current stats are showing for just the last 7 days. So let's say I really promoted some stuff over a week. I could just look at that week, which is great. But when I click there, when it says last 7 days, I get this option that shows up. Select your time period. Do you want to look at the last 7 days or do you want to look at the last 30 days? Well, hey, I'm really curious how February ended out, okay? Or my last 30 days. I'm going to pop it onto that. And now I can see here is my last month on Instagram. I reached 28% more accounts in the last 30 days than I did in all of January and February. Okay. Here's an overview. I reached 1,600 accounts. That's up 28%. I had 533 content interactions. That's likes. That's they clicked on my links. That's they went and looked at my profile. That's they emailed me or direct message, PM, DM, whichever you want to call it, etc. Okay. And my audience is at 25-24. Here's the content I shared during that time frame. It was 13 posts. Everybody see that okay? So if I've scrolled down here, notice it's set to a year right now. So I could go down. Hopefully it'll update quickly so you guys can see this. When I started my travel thing about a year and a half ago, on my best days, I was getting honestly under 100 likes or interactions or reaches, okay? Gang, a year to a year and a half later, and a lot of this attributed to the proper hashtags because I didn't understand hashtags till I took a class about them. Look at the top one.
Video. It's also
Six-
video, David. You got a lot more video going on.
I am starting to do more video, yes,
Yeah.
because video is king when
Yeah.
it comes to content. Absolutely. And thank you for noticing. Yeah. Look at the top one there. Can anybody tell who that is before I open it up? It's Eddie Van Halen. What does that have to do with the travel industry? What does Eddie Van Halen have to do with you as a realtor? Absolutely nothing. Okay. Absolutely nothing. But when Eddie Van Halen passed away, I mentioned before, when my passions, my wheelhouses in life, I am a huge music fan. Van Halen, one of my favorite groups in the 80s. Okay. Gang, look at that jump. My top post with my wife and I was just shy of 1,200 reaches. When I posted about Eddie Van Halen and I used the proper hashtags, 6,800 impressions. I reached almost 7,000 people with that post. I guarantee you, with that one post, I got a bunch of followers. I got some emails and I got people, oh, you got a really cool page. What do you do in the travel? A lot of people assume I'm a travel agent. Okay, I'm not. But I had people reaching out to me. That's what hashtags can do for you. Okay, let me go back to Eddie Van Halen and look. I didn't even put a whole lot in there. Eddie Van Halen, rest in peace. Frankenstein, if you don't know, that's the name of his guitar. Okay. Might As Well Jump. I put some of the song lyrics, and the most popular song was Jump. So I put Jump and Might As Well Jump. That's what people know. Wolfgang Van Halen is his son. Alex Van Halen, Valerie Bertinelli, he was married to, for forever. David Lee Roth is not Eddie Van Halen, but he's associated with him. Okay. So, gang, this is what hashtags can do for you. All right. And those are some of the statistics that you can get from Instagram. They have similar things on a business page in Facebook. I personally think it's kind of harder to dig through Facebook's info than Instagram. And that's why I love doing this stuff on Instagram. So, real quick, Lisa, I especially want to make sure you see this and everybody else. I'm going to go and create a post. I don't even know what I'm going to put here, but I just want you to be able to see something. So, I'm going to select a post. And something from our ski trip, probably me chowing down on a burger, Rio Grande Gorge. Yep, boom. Okay, here's a ski photo. All right. I'm blazing through this real quick so I can get to this part. All right. Notice when I'm here, it has add location. Always add a location, guys. Even if it's just Columbus, Ohio, or Dublin, Ohio, or wherever you live or work. Because if anybody searches for Columbus, Ohio, guess what they're going to get? Your content. Okay. Tag people. I mentioned this, Lisa, earlier, where I said I always tag people in my photos. I'm going to tag me, my wife, my sons, and our family in there. Every time I do something for a travel industry, I put our whole family on there. Okay. That's tagging the photo. Now, when you come up here and write your caption, can you see my keyboard actually has the hashtag sign on the bottom right? So easy to do this in Instagram. Hashtag snow skiing. Oops. Sorry, I missed my chubby thumbs and a small keyboard. Not a good combination. Actually, let me just type in ski. This is why I love Instagram. Facebook does the same thing, but Instagram tells you this is how many people use or follow or search for this post. Ski, 14.8 million people. How do you think I knew what to put for Eddie Van Halen? Okay, because I came in here and I typed in Van Halen and it told me everything about Van Halen and how many people use that hashtag, subscribe to that hashtag, or follow that hashtag, or have searched for that hashtag. So which one do you think out of that list I should do? Ski? Yeah, definitely. How about skiing? There's another 10.5. Between ski and skiing, I've got almost 25 million people that potentially could see this. Okay. So I'm going to do it.
I've also heard too that sometimes it's not good to do the hashtags with the ones that have that many, because it kind of gets lost because it's too big.
And you're right, Lisa. And the other reason, because that many people are also posting with that hashtag.
Yeah.
So when they go search for it, it's going to be flooded. You are exactly right. However, I personally get around this, and this is what I recommend. This is why I always do a mixture of hashtags.
Gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely. Always mix it up. A lot of people will say always use one, real estate, luxury homes, everything luxury home associated, mansions, etc. That's great. But if you're not mixing up your hashtags, you're absolutely right. You could miss an audience, or you could get lost in the audience, which is absolutely right. So here's Skiing for Life. That's only 463,000 people. Okay. Here we'll do snow ski. Right, there we go. Snow ski, 45,000 people. Okay, I don't snowboard, neither does my son, but guess what? Snowboarding is very popular where we go and look at that snowboarding, 12.3 million people. Boom. Okay. You guys see why I love Instagram now? I think snowboarding had, yeah, snowboarding. There's another one, another 8.3 million people. Okay. So snow, let's just do snow. 102 million posts. Boom. That's how, hey, what's up? That's how I build these out, guys. This is how I do my Instagram. You asked me, how did I get that many followers in a year, just over a year? That's how. I didn't know about all this. It was about honestly, about 4 or 5 months into doing my business page when I took a social media class from a good friend of mine. And then I learned about the true value and the power of hashtags. And this is what I wanted to impart on you guys. Okay, so let's do, I'll get this a little more hyper local now. Let's do Dublin, Ohio. Okay. Now, if somebody that I'm following is also using this hashtag, you might get something that looks like that first one that says followed by so-and-so, but it just says, you know, it doesn't say like 4.5 billion. That is still the largest one on the top of the list. Okay. I don't know why Instagram does that, but for some reason, if you're following, so I'm still going to put Dublin, Ohio, if I'm advertising a house. How about Columbus? Oops, if I could spell it right. Sorry. Again, fat thumbs, small keyboard, not a good mixture. Okay. So you can see I've got a lot of people following that, but still Columbus and all those other things still show up at the top. Okay. How about Columbus? See, geez, I gotta type slower. Let's do Columbus real estate. Just trying to give you some good examples here. Real, geez. 51, over 51,000 posts on that. Boom. Okay. Lisa, as a realtor, what's a good hashtag or area or wheelhouse that you would do?
A wheelhouse or
Any of them, just yeah, any associated.
I do Black Lake, Ohio.
Blacklick?
Yep. Or Gahanna.
Okay, there you go. That's over 1,000 posts for Blacklick. Here, I live in Hilliard. Throw again, if I could type right. You guys getting the idea? Hilliard, Ohio, 51 point, right? I said that the Hilliard networking on Facebook had over 2,000 people. This one has 50 something thousand, 51.4 thousand people on it. Okay. Yeah. Again, you may not reach everybody, but that's your potential audience, gang. Okay. So knowing that and the statistics that you can get to that I showed you before, so that you can actually see proof positive when you have brand new followers coming in, or you hit an audience that you didn't have before using the proper usage of hashtags, gang, that's your lead generation right there. That's increasing your network. That's the exact value that I wanted you to get out of this class. How do I reach an audience that doesn't know who David Satterfield is? How does Lisa Evelyn go out there and get her name and her business known to people you may never meet in your entire life? This is how you can do it on Instagram.
It's kind of hard for me because all I do is real estate. Like I don't really have a life outside of my business.
But
so
and that's a great point, Lisa. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I need to go get a life, but I don't have one right now.
But I'm taking that in, but I'm also going to give back to you but you saw, like, for the topics that we talked about before, there's a lot within real estate that you can also talk about, right? Yeah. Home organization, clean your closet, purge your closets, things like that. So even within that, I mean, you could build up a pretty big wheelhouse if you looked at a lot of the different topics. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, gang. So I'm gonna stop broadcasting there. Boom, there we go. I'm so glad that worked. That was the coolest thing ever.
I want you to show me how to do that.
I will do that. So gang, I appreciate you coming today. Again, that was really what I wanted to do, give you a little bit more information about hashtags than you knew before. The background and stuff. I personally, Barb had to go. I personally find that stuff interesting, but then really, how can I translate that into helping my business be successful? One of the big things I love to do if I can, and Facebook ads is a great way to do it, of course, is lead generation. Increase your network, get a hold of people that didn't know you before, have them start following you. And I will say this, the other way to be successful on social media, interact with your audience. Okay. If people start putting comments on there, don't ignore them. And sooner than later, because both on Facebook and on Instagram, the algorithms look at how popular a post gets, but also how fast it becomes popular. So interact with your audience. I've told people before, you wouldn't go to a networking event, in person, walk around the room with a bunch of business cards, shove one in everybody's hand and walk out the door. Okay. That's not a way to network. Okay. If people start commenting, start a conversation. Doesn't matter if it leads to a sale or not, or a lead or anything. You know why? Because you're in their head now. They know that Lisa, they know that Melinda is a realtor now. Okay. If they or somebody, oh my gosh, I know this really cool realtor. She does these awesome home organization videos. She could definitely hook you up when you guys are looking to sell your house. Okay. That's great referrals. That's a great way to increase your network. That's lead generation right there, gang. Okay.
Thank you,
So
David.
hopefully you guys had fun. I had fun with this class. Sorry I ran over a few minutes, but man, I
It's
just want to
okay.
make sure we got the phone.
Thank you, David.
Yeah,
Sorry,
thank
I
you,
had to
everybody.
jump in and off. It's school pickup time. So, but I was here
Oh, no
listening and I
worries. No
appreciate
worries.
it.
Absolutely. Melinda, thanks for coming too. Appreciate you guys.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.